Do you know what allergy is? The definition of allergy, I'll tell you. Von Pirquet is a French physician who defined allergy about 100 years ago. He said, altered, acquired capacity to react. You understand that? Altered, acquired capacity to react. So allergy is not genetic. Allergy is not something with you. You alter yourself one day to become allergic to something. You know, if you would have been eating, let's say, pickles every day, one fine morning you may be allergic to pickle. Unless you have come in contact with pickle earlier, you will never be allergic. Even drugs like that. Unless you are exposed to a drug, like penicillin allergy, for example. Penicillium notatum is a fungus in the wild. All of us can come in contact with that. Somebody suddenly becomes allergic. So it's altered. And the most important part of allergy is the mind. So half the allergy, if not more than whole the allergy, can be really eliminated if you analyze your mind and forget about the whole thing. You fuss about it, you become more allergic. Acute allergy, Stevens-Johnson syndrome or acute collapse, requires treatment. Temporarily, steroids. Steroid is nothing. It's just one of those placebos that you give to everybody for everything. But taking medicines in the chronic for allergy, on a chronic basis is very dangerous because most of these anti-allergy drugs, which are called anti-allergy drugs, are very bad H1 blockers. And they invariably increase the QT interval in the heart. And one of the quick methods of killing yourself very fast is being on anti-allergic drugs continuously. Some of the recent anti-allergic like cinnarizine are H1 blockers plus A1 blockers so that your blood pressure goes down sometimes. So be careful when you do these things. And second thing is no doctor tells you, or many doctors forget to tell a man, anti-allergy drug people should not drive a vehicle. But they suddenly, their level of thinking will go down and the judgment goes down and accidents are very common. It is estimated that 50% of the road accidents are due to people taking anti-allergic drugs without their knowing that. And one of the methods of anti-allergy thing is how to change the mind. Quantum healing. Meditate and get it out. And the nose allergy, therefore, the seat of the allergy is in the submucosal layer. Now there are lasers which can remove that layer and sensitize that layer, desensitize layer, and you are all right in no time.
I believe that most of our diseases, such as cancer and stuff, is caused by some kind of stress, emotional, mental. But that doesn't help explain why 4-year-olds get blood cancer and things like that. How do children
What a beautiful question. This girl is very good. I like that girl. Amma, have you got into a 4-year-old child's mind?
I've tried to a lot.
Yeah, you have not been. You will see a 2-year-old child. When you get the next child coming out, it hates that child so much that it wishes the child can be killed. They have tried to kill that. They are also in the same world, ma. They have also got emotions, which you and I don't understand. They are also same zygote as you and I are. And they also can think. So you don't know what happens. You know, a lot of people ask, why did Ramana Maharshi die at a young age? Why did Shankara die at a young age? How do you know they had a tranquil mind? They were good people. You know, for example, you think I am a good man. I may be a rascal inside. You don't know. You don't know, really. So a child also has emotions. So a 4-year-old child can have cancer, nothing wrong in it. You will be surprised to know that a child learns in your own womb. Did you know that?
Yes.
And if you and your husband fight when you are having the child inside, that child becomes a fighter when it comes out. It can learn for, 9 years, 5 years in the house, surroundings.
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. See how that Chakravyuha coming out and going in, etc. Today people are teaching mathematics to children in the womb. Yeah, you can do that. You just try this experiment. When you become next pregnant or somebody friend becomes pregnant, after some time you name the child. You name the child something and call the child every day. And after a few months, you just simply call the child, it moves in the tummy.
Professor, I've tried that. I have a 12-year-old son who loves mathematics. And I remember when my friends used to ask me when I was pregnant if I have any kind of urges to eat. We have specific urges to eat. And I had none. But I used to want to solve integral calculus, enjoyed doing that. And my son loves mathematics.
Good girl. Good girl. Indians are good at calculus after Ramanujan, You will be surprised. A professor of cardiovascular surgery in Stanford, such a big man. His name was David Eddy, D-A-V-I-D-E-D-D-D-Y. Eddy, at the age of 52, when he was about to become the head of the department of cardiac surgery because his boss, Norman Shumway, was retiring, he said, why am I doing bypass surgery? It's unscientific. There's no scientific basis. I'm using linear mathematics or non-linear organ. He resigned his job. Can you believe that? 52, Stanford professor of cardiovascular surgery resigning his job? And he joins Stanford University for PhD in mathematics. 3 years later, he gets a PhD in mathematics with the Henley Gold Medal, and the citation says, David was the best brain in calculus that Stanford had in 350 years. And David goes on to change the physiology of man, and he has got a new physiology now called www.archimedesmodel.com. Go to the library, put it there. You get and then put your problems there, you get a solution there. And you will find whatever drug you give there, it says is horrible. Don't take that drug. And David is now professor of medical management in Stanford University. He doesn't do bypass surgery. So good.
Thank you.
Here, doctor.
Don't ask a difficult question.
I have a couple of questions.
My God.
One is, how do we get rid of the plaques in the arteries without statins, for example? And the second question is, if someone is detected with, say, 90% blockage or something, and having stent implanted is good or not?
Good. Both questions are good. They are really good questions. You know what it shows? Are you an engineer? Yeah, see, how did I know? How did I know? Because only an engineer can illogically think that if there is a block, that must be removed. There is a toilet block, it must be removed, no? If the toilet pipe is blocked, water to come, you put a new pipe. But unfortunately, the human body is non-linear and non-Euclidean, so you can't apply your Euclidean linear mathematics there. When the block starts as a child, God starts giving you bypasses. They are called collaterals. So it's good. It's good to have a block. Remember that? Don't try to remove the block. As a matter of fact, we have developed a new system of yoga where you can produce blocks in those rare individuals, unfortunately, who don't have block. I'll show you that. It's very simple. You know the sannyasis in the Himalayas live up to 100 years? You and I don't live. Do you know why? We have too much oxygen here. They have very little oxygen there, up there. So less oxygen means the heart gets to learn to live longer. So with the blocks coming, nature has given the block, the heart will live longer. So don't try to remove that. And whoever has told you that statin will remove the block must have told you, taken you up the golden path. Now this is a very simple exercise. This is very simple, and it has two things it does. A, it helps your heart to have intermittent hypoxia. You know, every second, part of the second you don't get oxygen, the other half you get the oxygen. So heart gets stimulation and it produces the blocks and helps the blocks. And very simple. And at the same time, it exercises a beautiful muscle called psoas major. It's a large muscle which starts in the chest at the back and comes down to the pelvis and holds on and comes and attaches itself to the thigh. So that if you stimulate this muscle, all the organs are stimulated every day in the human body. It's very simple. See, stand like this. Of course, now I have had a full breakfast. I shouldn't be doing it, but anyway, let me try. You should do it on empty stomach. You stand like this and then breathe in and breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe out. Sit without a chair. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe out. Breathe out. Stand up. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Now what have I done? I have breathed out for 20 seconds without oxygen going to my heart. And now breathing in. So intermittent hypoxia I have given. Number 2, I have stimulated my psoas. If you did it 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the evening, your blocks will increase. You don't want that, right? And you will live longer.
How about the stent part?
I didn't want to answer that. Actually, the stent will worsen the whole thing.
Or a bypass surgery?
No. Both will worsen the whole thing. Now, you live after that because of the placebo effect. You shouldn't live after that. Actually, bypass surgery is associated with double the risk of heart attack afterwards, quadruple the risk of stroke afterwards, sudden death increases afterwards, heart failure increases afterwards. Nobody tells you this, but your pain goes. Pain goes.